And we're back now talking outlet jacks, and we're looking at surface mount. Um, with surface mount, with our flush mount, we're looking at boxes or rings installed in the wall, wires coming down through the wall kind of thing to an outlet box. Very professional looking. In most commercial environments, that's what you find. But there are times that we need to use surface mount. So surface mount is I'm actually putting a box on the surface of the wall. If I go way back here to the beginning, just to kind of refresh our memory here, with our surface mount, we're looking at this style here where the box is on the wall. As opposed to the flush mount in the wall. So we're looking at surface mount now. When we look at surface mount, first thing we talk about is this is after the building is being constructed, maybe even many years later. The building might already be 50 years old, and now you're putting a data network in. The nice part about surface mount is this can be done on almost any wall surface. I can do it on a concrete wall, I can do it on a concrete block wall, I can do it on a brick wall, and I can even do this on a hollow wall, drywall if I really want to. But this allows me to put my cabling where I need it, maybe not where I can get. I mean, if I were trying to run wires down through the wall, I might not be able to get it where I want it. So surface mount, I can put it where I need it. So I can put this in almost any location, but more importantly, I can put it where I usually need it without having to worry about the wall and getting wires down through the wall, that sort of thing. So surface mount often gets used for this. Concrete block wall, I don't have a choice, or I'm gonna put it on the surface of the wall so I can put the outlet right here next to the printer, or right here next to this desk that I need to put here, kind of thing. So surface mount gives me that flexibility. To do that, I have two main types of boxes that I'm going to use: a self-contained box or a surface adapter box. The self-contained box we often call a biscuit block. We'll look at that in just a second. This often has maybe two, three, sometimes four outlet jacks in, but usually just a couple, allowing you to run one or two wires down and put it, next to a desk, or put it next to a printer that's going to be stationed there, be installed there. So I can use this again, solid walls, modular furniture, difficult to reach areas, that sort of thing. The other style, surface adapter box, this is a typical outlet box that you would find on the wall. I'm going to typically use this with conduit or raceway coming down to it. If you ever seen any box mounted on the wall, this is typically what you think of, the surface adapter box. Alright, let's look at the self-contained box first, or the AKA biscuit block. A biscuit block, or a surface self-contained box, I have usually one or two outlet jacks in here. This little box gets screwed to the wall or anchored to the wall, and then I snap the cover onto it. Here's another style or two giving you an idea that I can get two or three outlets in here. These are showing you two, but I've seen them with a couple more and more than that before. But usually just a couple outlets where I need them. Used for solid walls, modular furniture, difficult to reach areas. It's going to protect the wire. I can protect the wire surface mount raceway. But I really don't need anything else for this. I have that box, I have the outlets in, I run the wire down the wall, into the outlet box, terminate, away I go. I usually don't need much else. The surface adapter boxes, a lot of times will be multi-pieces. Sometimes they're single piece, sometimes they're multi-piece. This is actually an outlet box that you're anchoring to the wall. While we're talking outlet box here, construction, some of them are a single piece like you'd have here, some are a two piece. As I look at a single piece, a solid unit, the pros and cons on this guy, the pro is it's all one unit, you anchor to the wall, you're done. The cons for this is sometimes it's hard to get outlet jacks and things through here, through the box for termination. So you often have to feed the wires through, terminate the outlets, and then work with it that way. Meanwhile, a two-piece box like you have here, I can anchor this plate to the wall, terminate my wires, everything else, feed them through this frame, and then snap it in place. This gives me a little bit more flexibility. This is one of the few times I say, in Mr. Brown's opinion or in Mr. Brown's preference, I actually prefer these when I'm dealing with outlet jack termination. It gives me a little bit more flexibility and a little bit more room for error. If for some reason the outlet jacks don't fit through this here, in this style I can take the frame off, feed the wires and jacks through, and then snap it back in place. It gives me a little bit of flexibility for repair, that sort of thing. Alright, so my surface adapter box, again, I typically have outlet jack into a faceplate. Faceplate gets screwed to my box, box gets screwed to the wall kind of thing. That's the typical arrangement I have for this surface adapter box for my surface mount. Again, these can be used on solid walls, concrete, masonry, block, brick, don't matter. It can be used on drywall, hollow walls. I can place them where I need them. Um, this gives me a lot of flexibility for, again, installing cabling after the fact. I don't have to worry about the wall or building construction. I can put this where I need it. Many of these are either adhesive backed, double stick tape, or I can actually screw them to the wall with actual screws. So if I take a look, if I get a box, even this little surface mount box, when I open it up, they typically have in there little screws as well as adhesive strips to anchor this to the wall. Now, first, the adhesive strips sound like a bit of a joke, but I'm going to tell you, if you buy a good outlet box, the adhesive strips that come with it are very strong and will last many, many years. So they are not a joke. They do work. They work very well. So if I just need a quick install, I can use the adhesive strip and stick it to the wall. The screws, if I'm anchoring this to an actual stud wall kind of thing, yeah, that's going to be a little bit better in the long run to be able to anchor it and put it in place. But as I get my packaging, that usually comes with both, so whatever method I need to use, I can use it. So if I'm dealing with hollow walls, that sort of thing, or a stud wall, this works fine. But if I'm dealing with any kind of masonry or concrete block wall, I now need to worry about anchoring in place with some kind of screw. Well, super quickly, if I'm dealing with a brick or masonry or block wall or concrete block wall, I would locate where my box needs to be. I would drill the holes in the wall using typically a hammer drill on a masonry bit. And as you see here, the guy's actually drilled in the mortar joint. That is the strong place to anchor a box to. So I'll drill into the wall with my masonry bit. And then they actually make special concrete screws. Brand name is Tapcon. But they do make concrete screws that I can now take and hold the box up the wall, or as I showed you earlier, the plate, hold the plate up to the wall and screw my plate to the wall. Then after I've routed all my wires and outlets and everything in here, I can snap the outside frame on. I can snap this outside frame on. So it makes installing a little bit easier if I do that two-piece. But if I'm dealing with a concrete block wall, brick wall, masonry, concrete wall, anything like that, I can use this method to install my outlet boxes, and for that matter, raceways on the wall too. So my surface mount box I can do on almost any wall surface, but I might need to change my method of anchoring it to the wall. This would work for concrete block, brick wall that I need to install my outlet jack into. Surface adapter boxes typically have 2, 4, 6 modular jacks, usually multiples of 2s. These are often called positions. If I have 2 outlet jacks in there, it's actually called a 2-position faceplate. If I have 4 outlet jacks there, they call it a 4-position faceplate. So once I've put my box onto the wall, I now need to worry about the faceplate that goes with it. And they come in 2-position, 4-position, 6-position. Here's a double gang 8-position. So as I'm looking at my faceplates, they usually refer to them as position. That's just one of those terminology things that you'll want to recognize. Well, my surface adapter box is also usually accompanied by raceway that's going to protect the wire down the wall and to the outlet box. It's usually a rather elaborate system of raceway to protect the cabling, and along with that usually has some kind of cover that snaps into place to protect the cabling. Here's 2 different styles to give you an idea. This is actually a 2-piece where I would anchor the plate to the wall and this cover snaps on after I route the wiring through. Or this style here that just has a little hinged cover that I run the wiring down through, and then this hinges over and snaps shut. So I'd anchor the back part to the wall, and then after I run my cabling through, I just flip this over and snap it shut. But I would need that raceway to protect the wiring as it comes to the outlet box. And what you'll notice is there's a couple major brands out there. Panduit has a bunch, Wire Mold has a bunch of different sizes, shapes, angles, corners. I'm showing you a couple examples here that I can get my cabling to almost any place I need to into an outlet box. There's all kinds of different products there to route my cabling and protect it. But as I'm dealing with surface mount outlet boxes, surface adapter boxes like this, I'm going to have an elaborate raceway system protect my cabling down to that outlet box. That's going to kind of go with it. They remind us also at this point too, I'm not going to mix my electrical and my data wires in this raceway. I'm not going to mix the electrical and data wires into my outlet box, so I'm not going to mix them in the raceway either. So it's one of those or. They do make raceway for electrical, they do make raceway for data, but I'm not going to mix them together. It's kind of an or thing. So just make sure you remember that one as you're dealing with this too. All right, when I deal with faceplates and outlet jacks, let's take a look. 3 types of mounting plates or faceplates. There's a fixed plate, modular plate, and 2-piece modular assembly. The fixed plate is what we would find if we go back to early phone, and I should say phone and early data. The actual outlet jack is incorporated into the faceplate. And the termination on the back is a screw and washer kind of termination. By modern day standards, there's too much wire untwist on the back of this, so it does not meet modern data standards. This would work for phone and early data, but it does not work for modern data today. So this kind of incorporated faceplate, fixed faceplate, is not acceptable with modern data speeds. So we typically are going to find a modular plate where I have a square opening like I was showing you back here. Let me back up just a little bit. Here we go. This is my faceplate where there's openings, and I snap my outlet jacks into it after they're terminated. So this modular plate is what we typically find. Usually square opening through which a variety of connectors can attach. I can snap in a phone jack and a data jack and a cable TV jack. I can do that. I can mix match them together. That gives me some advantages. I can use this for a number of different things. And I can also have a variety of different colors too. I can color code my phone and my data jacks in this. It makes it handy for larger commercial environments. The disadvantage on this one is, and this is one of the few that we run into in this, and actually in cabling in that matter, the manufacturer faceplate and outlet jacks are not interchangeable. Example, if I have a Panduit faceplate, the only outlet jack that's going to fit into it is a Panduit outlet jack. If I have a Leviton faceplate, the only outlet jack that's going to fit into it is a Leviton outlet jack. This is one of the few things that are not interchangeable. What you're going to find is a lot of times in cabling, you'll find somebody that uses all one brand, and it's for that reason. That way things do snap together, fix, and work, or I should say, work together, and they're easier to fix because you have all the same brand that you're working with. That is not uncommon at all. This modular faceplate is preferred for land installation. You're going to find this a lot. It's not that it's cheaper than other faceplates or anything else, but it's suitable for modern network speeds. And here's some examples of modular faceplates, all the openings, and the color-coded jacks that snap in and all that jazz. That's very common. And here is the example of outlet jack snaps into faceplate, faceplate into outlet box screwed to the wall. Very, very common arrangement for data, and that's actually what we're going to be using in the lab as we deal with terminations. The last one they mentioned is a modular jack, the 2-piece modular assembly. If you go back to our old IBM data cabling system, the outlet jack in the wall for that IBM hermaphroditic connector that actually was a 2-piece connector. The advantage is there, the wiring's already terminated the connector, and it snaps to the jack on the wall, so I would not need to re-terminate stuff if I'm doing that. I could just kind of unplug it and plug in a new connector. But this is not very common for LAN installs today, and I even searched very hard to find an example online, and I just can't find one to show you. That tells you that it's not very common. So the 2-piece modular assembly is not very common by today. The most common one is this modular plate that we're going to deal with and we're going to install. All right, when we come back, we'll talk about the different types of terminations for our outlet jacks.